Hello everyone, today we'll be making a video. This is my fourth update on my two Sanyo Vcord II machines from 1976. Now what I have in front of me, this right here is my 8200 model machine, and this is my 8400 model machine. This is a newer model as well as a more modern machine, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but this might have been the last machine that was made by by Sanyo at least. I know that's both Sanyo and Toshiba made this format. I'm not very familiar with the Toshiba machines because those were actually a Japanese only machines. The US machines were the Sanyo company, which made these two machines. Now, I want to let you know kind of the differences between these two machines. I'm very proud owner of these two machines because they're incredibly hard to find. I had been looking for these two machines for the past 4 years. So when they were available on eBay, I bought these right away. This one right here was $150 and this one right here was $300. This is a mint quality machine. This has 0 hours of playtime. This machine works. This one does not. I'm in the process of fixing this machine. Now, if for any reason this 8200 model, if I'm not able to repair it, that's no problem because like I told you, I have this mint quality machine right here. So if for any reason this one, it's not going to be a loss. I can tell you, nothing that you repair is a loss because you're going to learn so much. I'm both learning and I'm kind of showing these machines on YouTube because there's not that many videos on this format. It's called the Vcord II format. Let me start by the weight. Now, originally I had told you that this machine weighed 40 pounds. I found out the exact weight on this machine. Now it does weigh 37 pounds, so I wasn't too far off. So technically this machine weighs 37 pounds. The manual tells me that this machine, the 8400 machine, weighs 31 pounds. Let me kind of show you why such a big difference in weight. But first of all, this is the top cover on the 8200 machine, and that is actually a stamped steel cover right there. So yeah, stamped steel is incredibly heavy. So that's one of the reasons why this machine is heavier than this 8400 machine. Now this 8400 machine actually has a aluminum alloy front cover. This is much lighter. I would say it's probably half as heavy as this cover right here. This is stamped steel. This is aluminum alloy. It's not 100% aluminum. It's an alloy, which means it's two different metals that were mixed together. So that really helped on the weight and also the looks. This has a textured brown paint finish. It's sort of like a matte finish to it. Yeah, that's not too modern. It's a very 70s look on this machine. Well, they are 70s machines from the 1970s. But this other aluminum finish on this 8400 machine makes it look a lot more modern. It kind of makes it look like an 80s machine, which is not. It's a 1970s machine. Now, I still don't know the exact date on this model here. I still think it might be a 1978 machine. It might be. I have not been able to find the exact date that this machine was made. So let me kind of put these top covers away. I want to show you the insides of these machines, let you know the differences between these two models. Now I went ahead and removed these screws on both of these machines. This is the bottom plate cover on the 8200 model, and this is stamped steel as well, which yeah, the weight's kind of adding up. So not only do you have a front top cover, you have a bottom cover that's also stamped steel. That makes these machines incredibly heavy. Let me put that aside. And this is the bottom cover on the 8400 model. They still use the stamped steel, I've noticed that this bottom cover has quite a few screws. For example, on this 8400 model, we have 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 screws. This bottom cover, it really holds everything else together. Because believe it or not, this side cover right here, this front cover, they're all kind of loose. They're actually held together by the bottom cover. The bottom cover kind of gives it stability. So they still use stamped steel on the bottom plate on this 8400 machine right here. Let me put that aside. Okay, so these are my two machines. I actually removed these screws that hold this board right here. They're both hinged, which really helps. But right away when I open these two machines, even though this is an older machine and this is a newer machine, I gotta let you know, it's the same innards, not much different. It's pretty much the same thing. This is a wonderful example of that very low innovation that you'll have when you do not have many companies making a particular format, a video format. They'll pretty much just throw out the same thing over and over again, and they'll expect you to pay for it. That's one of the downsides when you don't have that much competition between companies. These machines were only made by Sanyo and Toshiba, so there wasn't much competition. So they pretty much threw out the exact same thing. As you can tell, it's the exact same boards right here. It's the exact same board right here as well. It's the same parts. It's the same 85 degrees centigrade capacitors. See, this board right here is from the 8200 machine, and this board right here is from the 8400. It's pretty much the same thing. Everything's identical. Like I told you, not much innovation. What I have here is a measuring tape right here. This is how I measure my belts. I know you can purchase the repair manual for these machines on eBay. They're about $25. It's a PDF file download. Now, I don't think that's very fair. I don't want to pay $25. So I went ahead and measured the belts myself by hand. I know it's not a very exact way to measure these belts, but it gets the job done. Like I told you, I'm not an expert on this. Let me show you now, something that I did notice, the belt that control the capstan, that would be this belt, which is a pretty bad condition. There was a difference on this belt. This belt originally was black. It was a black material used on this belt. Now on this 8400 machine, they did use a different material for this belt. They used this kind of clear brown material for this belt. It still fell apart. This is the only belt that did not survive the time on this machine. Regarding the belts for both the play, the rewind, they're round belts. You'll see round belts, square belts, as well as flat belts. This right here is a flat belt. This is a 1/4 inch diameter, and it's actually 9.5 inch circumference belt. So that's what I purchased. I purchased a 9.5 inch circumference belt with a 1/4 inch diameter. Just in case you have one of these machines and for any reason you don't have this kind of like a way to know what was there before, I'll let you know. It's a 1/4 inch diameter and it's a 9.5 inch outer circumference belt. That's still coming in the mail. I have not received that yet. Now I did receive my tapes. I was able to buy 12 tapes. I'm very happy to find 12 tapes. I mean, like I tell you, that even the tapes are incredibly hard to find. But I do have 12. They're right there. I'm going to show you in detail more information on those tapes in a while. I want to kind of show you not as much as what changed. I'm going to show you what did not change. For example, you still have that very heavy, clunky power supply here. Insanely heavy power supply. That exact same power supply is the same one on this 8400 machine. So yeah, No innovation on this power supply. It's the exact same thing. Same super heavy, very inefficient power supply right here. They both have this RF unit, which is optional. This one actually came with it. It's a channel 3 RF unit. This one did not come with it because it was an option. It still has the original tape that held the connector here. I'm gonna leave that alone. It's kind of neat to know that's the original tape. It's kind of dried up. It's not sticky anymore. I'm gonna leave that alone. If for any reason you can use this part, let me know. I can give you this. I don't really plan on using the coaxial out on these machines. Let me show you something that's very interesting. These bridges right here. Bridges are repairs that were made at some time. This exact same bridge right here, you'll find on this 8400 model, which like I told you, if Sanyo knew that there was a problem with this part right here, they should have fixed it the correct way. They shouldn't have went ahead and made these bridges once again. Even though this is a newer machine, they still made this exterior bridge here. Which is another reason why you won't find much innovation when there's not that many companies making a familiar format. So these two machines have the exact same bridges here. Okay, so I guess that's it for the... Well, there is a little bit of difference. For example, this 8400 machine, it does have a removable cord. It's kind of like an upgrade compared to this non-removable cord, but that's not much. You would expect a lot more innovation. Also, this 8400 machine has this monitor connection right here, which I believe is called the HAI. I don't remember too well what that's called exactly, but this 8400 machine does have it. This 8200 machine does not have it. Another thing that I noticed is a much better material used on these connectors. It's I believe this is nickel plated, which is not the best contact. The best contact would have been gold plating, but it's an upgrade compared to my 8200 machine. As you can tell, that's not that shiny, so it's not as good of a contact there. Another thing I noticed is on this 8400 machine, they actually put an input that's an RCA audio input. The audio input on my older 8200 machine, it only has a mic. You have to use a mic if you want to insert audio on it. This has both a mic and an RCA audio input, which I prefer, because you don't have to go ahead and buy an adapter that would convert from this 3.5 millimeter connection to the RCA type. You pretty much have an option here, which I really appreciate. Another kind of difference they did on this 8400 is this handle here, which really helps. These are heavy machines. This handle really helped to carry this machine around. Yeah, no handle here. 37 pounds. My mistake. I did say 40. It's 37 pounds exactly. And this is 31 pounds. Let me show you a little bit why this machine is a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can see that from this video, but this plate back here is actually aluminum. They did not use stamped steel here, so that also helped on the weight to reduce the weight. They use aluminum plate here that pretty much holds all the motors and all these actuators, gears, everything in place here. Okay, so I think that's it for the differences, which is not much. Like I tell you, it's a handle. It's that odd video output / input connector. It's the removable cord. This machine also has a frame by frame search option, and that's pretty much it. All of the parts that were used inside, all the motors, everything else, it's the same old. So not much innovation there. Let me kind of put this machine aside, and let me go ahead and show you my tapes. I did purchase a total of 12 tapes. I purchased these via eBay. The seller, you know what? He had been selling these tapes for a long time. I actually noticed these tapes about 2 years ago. But you know what? 2 years ago, there wasn't much availability on these machines. You pretty much, there was no way you would see one on eBay. I mean, no way. Like I told you, I had been searching for these machines for the past 4 years. So finally, I found two machines. I purchased them right away. So right now, let me put that aside. I have a total of 12. Now, all of these, I'm not sure, because you know what? These are not sealed. The clear plastic covering has been removed. But what I can tell, this stack of tapes here are probably not recorded. They're not used. These probably are, because of the fact that they do have writing on them. This says P32R8E. I have no idea what might be on this tape. And also this other tape right here also has writing on it. It says save Texan tape. It says February 21st, 1979. I don't know what's on here either. And these bottom ones, I do suspect they might be recorded on because of the fact that they have not been rewound. Some of these are halfway through. Some of them have not been rewound. So there is a chance that these three, and as well as these two, these total 5, might have recordings on them. It's kind of like the thrill of not knowing what's on here. Now, right now, I can't see what's on these because my belts have not arrived. My belts regarding the capstans. And you know what? You don't want to place a tape on a machine that does not have a spinning capstan, because it's going to be a nightmare. If this capstan does not spin, you know what? These machines, they're not very smart. I have other machines, mostly the military grade, as well as the aircraft quality machines. They're very smart because they do have chips and smart settings. For example, if any motor stops playing, the machine will turn off, because it kind of avoids having a misfortune, having a mess of tangled up tape in here. I can tell you, this machine is not very smart. For example, I've been able to operate this machine without having this part spinning. The machine doesn't really know if this part here is spinning or not. So if for any reason I do put a tape in it right now, it would pretty much eat the whole thing up, and it would not stop. It would just keep going and eat up the entire tape. So I'm going to tell you, if you repair old machines and you have a single part that's not spinning, do not put a tape in it. It's going to chew it all up. So my belts, they're coming in the mail. It's taking a little bit longer. It was a private online store. It was not eBay. It was not Amazon. And I've noticed private sellers like that, they do take their sweet time. Anyway, so these are my tapes. Now, I have seen many images as well as videos on these tapes on YouTube. You'll find a wonderful video on these tapes. Somebody did a great job on these, making a video regarding these tapes. But even after I saw that video, you'll learn a lot more when you actually have something in front of you and you can touch it, you can smell it, for example, you can hear it. I gotta tell you, this brown covering, believe it or not, it's not cardboard. It is not cardstock. This is actually plastic. Let me kind of tell you what it feels like. If you're familiar with the Nintendo NES game cartridges, you know that black colored protective sleeve they use on those? It's pretty much that material. It does have a little bit of give on it. Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I was like more than 100% sure that these were cardboard. I mean, based on what I had learned via images and other videos on YouTube. But I gotta tell you, this is not cardboard, this is plastic. And it feels a lot like the same material that was used on the NES Nintendo game cartridge protective sleeves. So yeah, that's something nice to know. For some reason, Sanyo, they decided to use plastic sleeves instead of cardstock. Now regarding the tapes themselves, I gotta tell you, the plastic that we use on these, it's a lot harder compared to a VHS. Let me kind of show you a VHS. By the way, VHS was available when this format was around. There was quite a few formats that were available around this time, which was the late 70s. They included this Vcord II format as well as VHS. This tape right here it's the Blair Witch Project. I love sci-fi and horror films. It's my favorite type of films. And I love this film because it really gets in your skin. The way they recorded this film, they did not use professional cameras. They actually used home home cameras. I'm talking about like mini DV camera, stuff like that. So that gives it kind of like a more realistic look. And I love the fact that they use not just one camera, they use a few types. The characters on this film, they use very vintage formats. And I love that. I love that aspect of this film. And it really gets under your skin. It makes you, it kind of sticks with you. For a couple, I saw this when I originally saw this film, it stayed in my head for like about a week because I love the way they record this film. It's very realistic. So let me go ahead and take it out of its box here. I bought this from eBay as well. You have to love the availability right now. Right now, the prices on vintage formats, it's very low. And the availability is very high. If you collect these kind of stuff, I gotta tell you, right now is the time to buy. Right now, you find the lowest prices. So yeah, as you can tell, the plastic that we use on the VHS, for example, it's a lot more flexible and opaque compared to the plastic used on these Vcord II tapes. This is a lot harder, which means it's not that flexible. It's more rigid, and also it's a lot more shiny. Yeah, you can see right there, it's pretty shiny. This tape, as you can tell, it's a little bit scratched out, which means it is used. This has been recorded on. I do not know what's on here. I might upload whatever's on here on my video page if I find it interesting. So yeah. Oh, let me kind of compare the size. So right there we have a VHS, and right here we have the Vcord II format. VHS is actually longer, but then again, Vcord II is actually wider. Not much. I would say it's probably, I don't know, an eighth of an inch wider. This records 2 hours maximum in the LP mode. You can record a lot more on these guys here if you use the SLP mode, which will give you about 6 hours of recording time. This was another kind of like advantage of this format. You were able to record a lot more hours compared to this Vcord II format right here. Let me put that aside. So that's the VHS was around when the Vcord II format, which well, obviously this format failed. VHS kept going. Another format that was also around during the Vcord II format was the beta. Now, I don't have many beta films. I do have this one. This is a sealed beta tape here. So let me just kind of compare the sizes of the Vcord II format to a beta. Yeah, beta was a lot bigger. As you can tell, not only was beta longer, it was also wider. Now compared to the thickness, not much difference. A beta tape was thicker. Not much. I'd say about a 1/4 inch. Okay, so beta format was also available during this time. Now another format that was also available during this time was the Quasar VX format. Now this format, it failed incredibly miserably. I mean, I don't think I know of another format that failed so badly as this right here. Now, yeah, the size differences. You know what? I don't really record I don't really collect the u-matic format because I consider u-matic to be very common. You find u-matic machines, they're very common. So when a machine is very common, it doesn't really interest me. I don't really collect the u-matic format. But I gotta tell you, this VX format made by Quasar is pretty much the size of a u-matic tape, which is incredibly big and incredibly bulky. So let me kind of show the differences between the Vcord II format and this Quasar VX format. As you can tell, that's a very big difference right there. Not only is it a lot longer, it's a lot wider as well. Let me kind of show you thickness wise as well. Yeah, that's a huge, it's pretty much twice as thick as a Vcord II tape. Yeah, that's another reason why this format failed so miserably. I mean, that's a lot of real estate to have a collection of tapes like this. This would have taken up a lot of space right here. This is used as a recording on it. In case this is something very interesting, I'll probably upload this onto my video page. I haven't done that yet. I'm in the process of fixing my Quasar VR1000 machine. And I gotta tell you, compared to these Vcord II machines, this machine is a lot more, it's not only is it more rare, it's very hard to fix. It's a very weird parts in there. That's taken a lot of time for me to fix, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep trying to fix this machine. So yeah, that's another format that was around during the Vcord II format. Let me show you something that maybe you have never seen before regarding this format. I want to show you what comes inside of them. These are kind of like the labels that you use to place over your covering right here. You can, it's optional. You can put labels right here. Kind of know what's on here. You use these stickers to put on there. And also what I really like is this kind of sheet that comes inside. It kind of lets you know the other variants of tapes that were available during this time. They had a V60 tape as well as a V20, which I only have V120 tapes. I don't have any of the V60 tapes, but I'll keep looking for them. There's a very good chance that I'll find one. Like I said, right now, the availability of vintage machines is very high. Now, I have found out that there were other capacities of these tapes. As you can see, this one has a red label on it. I know that there was also the green label tapes as well as yellow label tapes. I don't have any of those, but I'll keep looking for them. They're on my list. Another great option they have on eBay is your save search option. You can go ahead and search for a specific item you're looking for, and if for any reason they don't have it, you get an email and it'll let you know that your item is available. So for sure, I have those Vcord II tapes on my list. They do have a limit. It's a 200 item limit. So believe it or not, I have that list completely full. I mean, I love collecting vintage formats. It's kind of like my hobby. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, so I'm not going to say I'm an expert. I'm pretty new at this. But I've been amazed at what I've been able to find. Now, let me tell you something. I was contacted by Mr. Rick Klein, which He's the president and chief curator of the Museum of Classic Chicago Television. He contacted me via email, and he pretty much saw my videos regarding this format right here. Now, this format is my favorite format to collect. I love the availability of this format. It's not too hard to find. Right now, you'll find two machines regarding this format on eBay. Both the portable 212 model as well as the 335T, which was a business class machine. He saw my videos regarding this format, and he asked me, would you be willing to transfer to the digital format a total of 8 tapes that I have in this format, which is the Technicolor micro video cassette? So right away I replied, yes, I would love to help you. And I let him know, I'm not gonna charge you anything. I am not an expert by any means, but I'm gonna try my best. And you know what? It's an honor to receive such an email from a president of a museum. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's thousands and thousands of people that do what I do. And to be somebody that gets an email like that, I mean, I'm going to do my best. Now, those tapes, they're about 2 days away. I will be using my military grade. It's a teak machine. It's very rare. It was made in 1986, and it was actually used to read recordings that were made on jets, on fighter jets. I will be using that machine. And you know what? Regarding hobbies, sometimes you get a chance to kind of make a little baby step, become better at it, go one level up. Since I tell you, I'm going to try my best to transfer those tapes. Now, I got to tell you, when you have a format that's analog, you'll have a lot of tracking issues. Because you know what? These tapes, they were recorded on another machine. I don't have the exact machine that recorded these tapes. So when you swap out tapes that were recorded on another machine, you'll have dropped frames, you have tracking issues. Now, there are ways to kind of fix that software-wise, but they're not 100% accurate. There's nothing like a time-based corrector. I know time-based correctors, they're incredibly expensive and they're very hard to find. I did a lot of research online and I decided to purchase from the AJA company. It's a very high quality company. They pretty much make broadcast quality machines. And I specifically like the FS1 model, the AJA company FS1. Now that machine, when it was released back in 2011, it pretty much cost $3,500. That's insane. I was able to find it on eBay for $700. It's not working. It does need a new power supply. But fortunately, I do know how to fix power supplies. I know how to fix transistors, transformers, capacitors. I can fix it. I'll fix it. I mean, for $700, it's a good buy. So I will be using that time-based corrector on those 8 tapes that I will be receiving in about 2 more days from the president of the Museum of Classic Chicago Television. So I'm going to do my best to transfer those. He told me the truth. They're pretty much a non-profit museum, and they pretty much work on the basis of people that they pretty much donate their machines, their vintage machines, to kind of transfer vintage formats. Now, I have not told him about these tapes. He has told me, if you have any commercials, vintage commercials, stuff like that, please send them to me. Because we love that kind of stuff. It's like a history. We love seeing the way that the company logos change over the times on the commercials. We love seeing the way that people dressed. We love seeing how people used to fix their hair back in the days. So yeah, I am gonna ask them and let him know if he wants to have digitally whatever is on these tapes right here. And yeah, I will be trying my best, my darndest, to convert his recordings. And you know what he told me? He told me we've had other people send us digital transfers on DVD, and I told him, you know what? I don't know why they do that. Why do they transfer such a old format onto DVD? I know when you transfer something to DVD, you will introduce aspect ratio problems as well as unnecessary interlacing. There's nothing like having the original captures, preferably in either H.264 or the newer H.265 video codec. And that's actually what I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him the original digital video captures untouched on a hard drive. There's nothing like having that because you're skipping unnecessary steps that will, like I told you, introduce aspect ratio problems as well as unnecessary interlacing. So I guess that's it for my update on this format, which is my latest endeavor, my latest adventure, if you will. I'm mostly focusing on the US formats, the formats that they were available in the United States. Now, I do plan on collecting formats that were European only based formats. That would be like the Video 2000 format, as well as the VCR format. Like when I say VCR, I don't mean the recorders, I mean the format. There was a format that was called VCR. It was called video cassette recording. And I do plan on collecting that format eventually. I really like to kind of focus on one format and kind of really get into it, really learn how it works, learn how to fix the machines, how they work, before I skip to another format. So like I told you, this is my current adventure right now. Hopefully you've learned something. Maybe you already collect this format. Maybe you want to collect it. Maybe I kind of helped you kind of know, let you know that the availability is very high right now. If you really want to collect this format, right now it's a good time to find these machines. Thank you so much.